Welcome to the Avert podcast, where we talk with some of the most creative people within North Texas and beyond. I'm your host, Michael Gibson Jr. This is a very special edition of the podcast. 22 North Texas film festivals came together to show off and present films that either were popular with their audiences or represent their programming aesthetic. I attended the red carpet a couple weeks ago and spoke with various filmmakers and festival representatives about the films that they were screening and for the festivals, what they had coming around the corner for later in the year. Speaking of around the corner, the 2019 Denton Black Film Festival runs from January 23rd through the 27th at the Campus Theater. For those of you that may not know, I am also a filmmaker and I have a short film in the festival. I'm very excited. I co-wrote and produced a short film called Allura, along with a gentleman by the name of Nicholas Mothersbaugh, who also directed it. Allura stars three very talented women, Lauren Brizendine, Maddie Lee, and Nicole Fancher. The story is about a single mother who is training as a NASA astronaut to potentially go and explore a new planet that has been discovered within the Goldilocks zone of a star. The conflict arises in that she has to make a choice between going on the mission of a lifetime versus the love of her daughter that she would potentially have to leave behind. It premieres at the Denton Black Film Festival on Saturday, January 26th at 6:15 p.m. at the Campus Theater. And if you go to www.avertyoureyespod.com, I will have links to the trailer and how you can get tickets. But like I was saying earlier, I spoke with Harry and Linda Eady with the festival at the Best of Fest red carpet a couple weeks ago. Here's our conversation.
Linda Eady.
Harry Eady. And y'all are with the
Denton Black Film Festival.
Yes. DBFF. And let everybody know about your festival and what film you have here this weekend.
Okay, so we are celebrating our 5th year in January, and we have the film
Steps. And it was the opening film that we had last year. It's a great story of recovery and just healing, and it's a very inspirational story.
and reconciliation, so it's a great film.
Yes.
What night does that play?
Okay, it's Saturday night at 7:30, Studio Movie Grill. Yeah, it'll be there. And when everyone finishes all the hoopla this weekend, in 2 weeks, you're ready for the Denton Black Film Festival. It's January 23rd through the 27th. And we have planned a fantastic festival. All kinds of things, from 63 films that we're going to be screening, and we consider ourselves a cultural festival as well. So while film is our heart, we have all these other elements too. Everything from spoken word to comedy events. We've got panels and workshops. We end our festival with a wonderful concert from the Grammy-winning saxophonist Kurt Whalum.
Who I just recently realized that he's the soloist in
The Whitney Houston song, yes, I'll Always Love You. I mean, it's amazing. So we're really excited. We have art exhibits. We even added a culinary adventure this year. So, you name it, we've got it.
Now bringing, y'all are focused more on the culture, so y'all have all these different parts and not just film. Like, how important was that for you with forming your festival?
So we think that culture is really very important. It really kind of gives you a basic understanding of who you are, and also really hopefully where you will move toward, right? So what we decided is that Black experience really is composed of art, music, now today spoken word. So we've incorporated comedy and several other things, but it really kind of gives people a holistic idea of who they are. And also food, right? So that's a huge thing with, I think, Black culture. So we're just trying to incorporate a lot of those components to really help people understand a little more about kind of who we are. Yeah.
Right. It's all about storytelling, too. I mean, and that's what film does, and through art and all these other mediums, too. We're telling stories, we're sharing our culture. So that's what we're about.
And then y'all are in a couple of weeks, so Can you tell people what y'all have coming up in store other than Kirk Whalen?
Oh, God, we've got all kinds of things. We're doing a...
We're going to open?
Yeah, well, we're going to open. We have an art reception that we're opening with, was a fiber exhibit that Wednesday night on the 23rd. And then the 24th, we are going to be busy. We have an opening of a 60th anniversary for the film Imitation of Life. It's an American classic, and we have it screening in 2 different theaters at Alamo Drafthouse. But that's not the only thing we have going on that Thursday night. We have speech from Arrested Development. He will be on UNT's campus at the Lyceum screening his docuseries and having a conversation with students. Then we're also at Texas Women's University with a film called Half the Picture, and the director of that film, Amy Adrian, will be there as well. So we have things going on that Thursday night. We're really opening it up. And then one other thing, on Friday we have a community screening of the film Weiss. And at this time, in our country, we really are trying to bring people together and get people to understand who they are and how they relate to other people and why. It's a question we all need to ask ourselves so that we can move forward. So we're also doing that.
Yeah, and for those people who really like food, we're going to have a taste of DBFF. So we'll have 5 or 6 caterers and chefs who will really talk about black cuisine, southern cuisine, and we'll pair that with wine, and then we'll have food bloggers and desserts and just a wonderful hour and a half of food tasting. So we're really excited about that.
And that's on Saturday.
That's on Saturday between 12:30 and 2 o'clock. So it's really good.
Anything else that y'all want to tell people?
So I would say the biggest thing is don't sleep on DBFF. If you really have an opportunity to come and experience the music and the films, because we think we have a really great set of films, and we'll screen 63 films this year. So really excited.
Yeah, and it just shows the diversity of our experience, and just some wonderful, whether it's short films, narrative films, documentaries, we have it all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll have links in the blog page for episode 41 at www.avertyoureyespod.com about each of these film festivals, so you can find out more information. Next up, I spoke with Rob Smatt, the director of The Last Whistle, and members of his cast, including Becky Nitschke, Selena Ray, Aaron N. Martin, and Ray Hosak.
My name is Rob Smatt. I directed one of the films playing right now. So it snuck out. The film is called The Last Whistle. It's a football movie. We shot it in Fort Worth. It's a huge Metroplex effort. We premiered at the Lone Star Film Festival, and now this is our second screening. Yeah, Lone Star was great. We got a lot of good buzz out of Lone Star. We kind of got to see who our demographic for the film is. We're hoping this movie is going to be for people that like Friday Night Lights. Because we got Buddy Garrity himself, in it. Brad was wonderful to work with, and he is an amazing actor and a Dallas scion for sure. So we're hoping that Friday Night Lights fans like it. We're hoping that film lovers like it. I went through the film education. I've seen every movie under the sun, and I tried to hide some references in it for sure in the way that we made it. And I'm hoping that people who are anywhere from 30 to 40 to 50 also enjoy this movie too, because it's a movie about getting older and having a younger crowd kind of come in and try to usurp you essentially, and it's a conflict between the way things were and the way things are, and who wins out. So this movie for me came from my experience in high school football, and not so much with the coach, but just with the sense that there was always that story about a player who collapses, and it's not because of concussion, it's not because of anything that has to do with football, it's because of a genetic condition. It's something that would happen to them even if they were kind of walking down the stairs. It's I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know that for sure, but it's a movie that speaks to everyone because it's a condition that affects all communities. And so it's something that I heard about happen a lot. It's something that I heard happen a lot when I played in high school, but I never heard the solution. I never heard, here's how to get screened for this, here's what causes it. And so for me, this movie is not only a way to kind of get back to that Friday Night Lights, sense of stuff that we all love watching, but it's also a sense of bringing awareness to that heart condition. Well, we're going to get this movie out in theaters. I mean, or out on iTunes, out on VOD, out on Netflix. We'll see. So we'll be out and about this summer. So check out our Facebook page. Go like us, and we're The Last Whistle on Facebook, and follow along, and everyone will be able to see it when it comes out this summer.
And then what about yourself?
Yeah, so for me coming up, I'm looking at representation right now, and I'll either go on to write another movie or go direct another movie or both at once. So we've got a lot of fun ideas coming down the pipeline and ready to get going.
My name is Becky Nitschke, and I'm the judge in The Last Whistle.
And I know that y'all were a part of the Lone Star Film Festival.
Yes, sir. It was so nice in Fort Worth. They treated us great, and it was the first time we all got to see it. It was very neat. It was good.
What was filming like?
Oh, fast, furious, and professional. I mean, 13 days. They filmed it in 13 days, so it was done. And it was really neat because when you went in, they knew what they were doing, and you just went to work. So it was good. I did another short film, and I'm not a judge in it. I'm going to die. So as much as I can do, I'm doing. And I'm going to be on AMS. Not Murder Made Me Famous, but one of those. So I'm Muhammad Ali film. So yeah,
Looking forward to that.
I am. I'm excited. So it'll be fun.
Best of luck for the festival.
Thank you so much. This is great. I'm so impressed that this many people came together to get this to go. It was awesome.
Hi.
What's your name?
My name is Selena Ray.
And you are with?
And I'm in the film The Last Whistle. I am the reporter Wendy Main in The Last Whistle.
Tell me about the project and your involvement.
The project, this is actually my very first film. I'm a singer by trade. A lot of commercials and kind of moved into more of a TV film role. This is my very first film ever, so it's very special to me. And it was just such an amazing process to have this one be the first film. It was just with Rob and the entire crew and the cast. It was such a beautiful first for me. I was on American Idol and just kind of have moved, into the world of acting and more commercials, and then I was asked to audition for this film, and I said sure, and here we are. It's so fun, so fun. This festival is great. I mean, again, I'm so new to this world, so the festivals are a new thing for me. But what I'm finding is you're able to a lot of young filmmakers and people just have great voices and great stories are being able to be heard, and those stories are being able to be told, and that's exciting with these film festivals.
It's everybody that has seen it absolutely loves it. I mean, we made a good little film. We really did. These guys, Rob Smith, the director, the whole crew, just amazing job in only 13 days. I'm sure a lot of people will talk about that because that's really fast. But everybody was amazing. I mean, every one of them. I would not hesitate to work with them again. I had a blast.
You filmed a lot of interesting projects. Like, what makes you decide the project
My
that you
character
pick?
is Wendy Main, and I'm
Well, it depends on if I can get the script or just a basic storyline or synopsis first and just read through it and see if it's something I'm interested in. Of course, if it pays well, that's a big one, right? You got to pay the bills. But I heard about this through a couple of people and saw that they were casting and holding auditions, and it said football film in Texas. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go audition and see what's up. They sent me the sides, and I think, okay, this looks like this might be fun. So I really had a lot of fun with those guys. Yeah.
What's next for you?
Well, let's see, what's next? There is a mutual friend, John Paul. He's got some things coming up with the UNT, in association with the UNT. Some kind of like a web series, TV series thing that we're going to be filming soon. Kind of sci-fi, fantasy episodes. I play a professor looking for clues for a young girl's superpowers kind of thing. There's a lot more into it than that, but we're going to get started on that in a couple of months, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you can follow me I'm on Facebook, Aaron Napier Martin. I'm also on Instagram at AaronNMartin93, and there's not any kind of social media for this project coming up, which is called Fairview Chronicles. But if you keep up with my page and my Instagram, you'll certainly see it when it does come out. I appreciate that, Mike. It's always good to see you.
Ray Hosick with The Last Whistle. I kind of play the antagonist. I'm a superintendent. The lead character has caused an injury to one of his players, and I kind of use that as a leverage to try to get him removed from his position.
Well, I know that this film was at the Lone Star Film Festival in Fort Worth.
Yes, sir.
What was your experience with the Lone Star?
It was really good. It was really well received, very well run festival. It's been around for a good while, and they really did a nice job setting it up. It's nice theaters, and it was a good experience. I've acted for 4 or 5 years. My brother and I used to produce films in this area probably 20 years ago, and so I kind of had the acting bug to be in front of the camera. So I've done a handful of projects now. Looking to do work on a feature film out of California called Miracle Desert. So hoping that moves forward. Great. My name is Ray Hosick. I'm on Instagram as Ray Hosick, Hosack. Facebook and Twitter.
Next up, here's Bart Weiss with the Dallas Video Fest, along with Mark Birnbaum, the director of The Big Buy.
Mark has a film that's showing Sunday night. In fact, it's the closing night film of this whole experience. It's called The Big Buy, and it has nothing to do with shopping.
No, it's a film noir documentary about Tom DeLay. Who remembers Tom DeLay? We made the film in 2006, and Bart, when he was asked to find a film that really represented Video Fest for the best of the fest, he picked our film, the Big Buy, and it was
That's because you gave us a big wad of cash.
It's a real honor. If you know anything about filmmaking, you know that's not true. It was really an honor, and I'm thrilled that it's going to be on the big screen again. It was made in 2006. It's about Tom DeLay enacting a plan that he had to create a permanent Republican majority in Washington.
Which is why things are messed up now.
We came within that much of that, right? We did. And so everything that he started back in 2002 with local elections and gerrymandering districts and illegal money in politics, and the guy that took him on in Austin, Ronnie Earl, the DA, who stood up to him and said, you can't do that in my state. You can't lie about money in the paper and get away with it in my state. And Ronnie took him on. The Texas Supreme Court, about 8 years later, let him off. But he got convicted. Anyway, it's a film that was very relevant then, and it is all over again because it really describes where it started that's gotten us here now.
So Dallas Video Fest is broken up in 2 pieces now. So there's DocuFest, which was in October, Alternative Fictions, which is February 7th through the 11th, coming up very soon. We also have the TV show Frame of Mind. We have the Dallas Biennale, which is our experimental festival in the summer, and the 24-hour video race coming up really soon in like April. And yeah, that's all. No problem.
How do you keep everything going?
I've been asking him that for a long time.
I have no idea.
I asked him when it came up to the 20th Video Festival, I asked him to stop for his own good, but he wouldn't do it. And now we're at 31.
Yeah. Every year my wife would say,
he's a machine.
Say, when's the last one?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
My name's Lisa Barrera, and I'm here showcasing as a filmmaker for my film Mosca. It's a short film under Dallas Video Fest.
Under Dallas Video Fest?
Yes, that's correct. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Well, is this your first film?
This is not my first film. I think this is like my fourth or fifth short film. So I'm not ready for my next feature. So it's my proof of concept. Yeah.
So is the process getting a lot easier for you?
Absolutely. I think every time you do something, it's beginning to get easier with communication between your crew, cast, and all that stuff. I think every time you discover something about yourself too, even more. So things you like, things you don't like, those type of things.
Well, tell everybody what your film's actually about.
Yeah. So Mosca, which means fly in English. It's a movie about a girl who ends up pursuing this boy, and in a sense, you find out that it's her cousin. So, yeah, in the simplistic way to say it.
When does it play?
So it plays this Sunday at 5:30. Yeah. p.m. Yeah.
Are you originally from here?
I grew up here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm originally from California, but lived in Dallas-Fort Worth, moved to Austin, came back up. So I would say Louisville, the Metroplex is like my hometown. Yeah.
What other projects do you have coming up down the pike?
Yeah, so right now I'm actually represented by an agency in California, and so right now there's several projects that I'm optioned for, others that I'm right now producing as well, and so we'll see. I think 2020 would be maybe the year I have a feature. Yeah.
Let everybody know how they can find you on social.
Yeah, definitely. You can find me on Instagram at Lizette _Lizette _Barrera _ 3 underscores between each name. You can find me there, follow me as I continue developing these projects.
So my name is David Blue Garcia. I'm the producer and director of the film Tejano, which is representing the Dallas International Film Festival here at Best of Fest. DIP was amazing. It was actually my first film festival. Tejano was my first film as a director, so I'd never really partaken in a film festival and its completeness. So it was a lot of fun. Tejano is the story of a young man in South Texas who makes a bad deal with a cartel, and they break his arm and make him wear a cast made of cocaine and send him back across the border. So we shot the movie in 2015, and now in 2019, the area where we shot it, the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas, has become something of a national talking point. So it's oddly timely, and it's a really interesting portrayal of South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, and the people there.
Was this something that you also wrote?
Tejano is based on my life story. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was an idea I had, and I collaborated with a screenwriter. Together we made the screenplay, and I actually grew up in South Texas, so a lot of the places in the film, the people in the film are places and people I'm familiar with. So.
Well, since this is your first, that was your first foray into directing, do you have any other projects lined up down the pipe?
Yeah, it was my first foray into directing a feature film. So, but I've been directing my whole life. It's something you always work on. If you work on a film set, basically everybody on that film set is a director, but they're doing different jobs. So that's what's great about the film industry is everyone is creative and everyone has ideas and everyone is telling their stories, and you just have to support everyone. So no matter what they're doing.
It's definitely a very collaborative effort.
It's extremely collaborative. As a director, you always want to listen to everybody in the room because I guarantee you, collectively, they have a better idea than you do. There's just so many stories from that set. Let me see if I can think of a short one, short and sweet. One of the best stories is we have a main location. It's the house where the two characters live, and it's like very important. We had to shoot there for about 12 days. On the first day of shooting there, we decided to film an explosion scene where we created an actual explosion using tannerite, which is something you can buy at any hardware store. It's like an exploding target. And we filmed the first round of it, and the explosion wasn't big. So we were like, okay, let's try to add a little more tannerite, maybe a little bit of gasoline on top of it. So we rolled, and that explosion was huge, and it was deafening. And I was scared to death that we were going to lose the location because we actually blew up like 3 of the windows on the side of the location. But I told the owner, and they just laughed it off and just were like, "Oh, it's all right. We'll replace those later. No worries." So, yeah, it was a crazy shoot. We just did an action thriller in South Texas and had a lot of fun with it. Follow us on Tejanomovie.com and Tejano the Movie on Facebook, and you can find out when we're releasing on DVD, when we're going to release on digital and iTunes and all that stuff. Yeah, thank you.
My name is David Gibson. This is Tommy Schubert. We're with the Asian Film Festival of Dallas, which runs in July 18th through the 25th of 2019. So it's at the Angelica Film Festival, Angelica Film Center,
Dallas, yeah.
Dallas. And so if you guys are in the area at that time, come by and see us. We're there for 8 days, so you can't miss us.
8 crazy days.
Yeah.
What film do y'all have going on at the BFF?
We got Rampant, and we're pretty excited about it. It's supposed to be, well, it's not supposed to be. I guess it is the highest grossing film in Korea at the time. So we're excited to play it. I'm excited to see it on the big screen. I tend to wait. He'll see him in advance. I watch him on the screen because I'm one of those guys. And so I'm really excited to see it. I've never seen a movie that combines medieval anything and like legitimate zombie film like concept. So I really want to know what that's like. Maybe it's
how are they going to pull that off?
Yeah, how is that going to work? Like, I mean, like if you punch them, like your teeth are going to get cut on your hand. Right? What? That's just dumb. Like I don't understand. Maybe they're smarter than me. I don't know.
Right. And so we hear if you enjoy Train to Busan, you're going to absolutely love this film.
Yeah.
And so we can't wait.
Yeah.
Cool. And then what do y'all have coming up for the festival later on in the year?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Exactly. No, we will hold off on announcing any films around July. But no, we just ramped up our actual submission process for receiving films. We're also going to reach out to the distributors overseas to see what they have for this year. And so we really want to tap into the independent market this year as well.
That's usually where we aim most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
More independent films because we have a lot of big budget film. Thanks to Wellgo USA, who's our presenting sponsor every year. They give us like the best content, which this film tonight, they're the ones that actually procured it for us. And so we expect big things for this coming year when it comes to our programming. We shoot for 30 films, 50 some odd shorts. That's our standard, and we're going to live up to that.
But yeah, I've been for several years.
Yeah, we've seen you.
NBC's been a sponsor for about 4 or 5 of those years.
Thank you guys for that.
Yeah, no kidding. We love seeing you there. We love seeing your people there all the time. You're always welcome, man.
Yeah, and every year you guys promote us, and when every year promotions come out, we see a spike in all of the actual clicks on our websites. People being curious about it, wanting to be on our newsletter. And so thank you guys for bringing our exposure up to those that may not even otherwise know that we're in existence.
And then if people want to find out more information about your festival,
they can go to AsianFilmDallas.com, or they can look us up on Facebook, Twitter, and all the other, our YouTube page. But Asian Film Festival of Dallas, you click that, you can't miss it. July 2019. Angelica, be there.
Hi, I'm Liz Cardenas. I'm the writer-director of the short film Imago, which played last night, the opening night, preceding the feature Tejano.
And what festival were you a part of?
I was part of the Women in Films Dallas, Flicks by Chicks is who selected me, and then I also played the Oak Cliff Film Festival when it played its festival circuit. So it was based on the true story and experiences of my transgender niece. The film was her actual email to her father in voiceover, telling him that she was no longer going to have a relationship with him anymore because of the way that he treated her and the fact that that it wasn't a healthy relationship. And this was back when she was male and in high school. She transitioned to female between high school and college, and I don't think that she would have the self-esteem and self-love that she has to this day and the confidence had she not stood up to him then. And I just remember feeling so inspired by her bravery and courage And the actual email she sent her father was really eloquent and heartfelt. And so I felt like that would be something that would, help maybe other teens struggling through that thing, where she's just like saying, hey, until you accept me for who I am, I'm not going to tolerate this. And he was kind of a bully, and it wasn't a healthy relationship. So I was really inspired by that story and wanted to tell it.
Well, since that happened so long ago, have things come around now, hopefully?
No. It is really kind of sad. But at the same time, she did reconnect with him for a little while, and then she's like, it reaffirmed my thinking that it wasn't a healthy relationship. And that's the sad thing or the hard thing when it's involving family. But when it's to the detriment of your own psychological state and your well-being, then you have to really just, go, you know what? I'm not gonna be abused, whether it's emotional abuse or physical abuse from anyone. And you can handle yourself in a way in which you're not lowering yourself to that level. It's just standing up for yourself. And that's the thing too, is although this is specifically her story and she's trans, it was as if she wasn't what he wanted or pictured as far as a son, and so just nothing was good enough. But that's something that a lot of us face no matter what our situation is. So although it's a specific story, I think it translates and is relatable to people of all ages and all types. I feel like, there's so many complex stories involving women, and that they don't always get shown, and it's kind of like, I just have conversations with my female friends all the time. And it's just like I don't know, it's like a complicated thing that if you don't have more female voices, like telling the stories, whether it's writing or directing, it's like a different perspective. And it's like, in one way I don't like to qualify like male filmmakers and female filmmakers. It should be whoever the best filmmakers are, or whoever's right for this part, or, But at the same time, there really needs to be more, more development on nurturing those voices and bringing them out, because of the fact that it's a complicated thing, and there's so many different stories that you don't really hear about, or like the shades of gray in terms of the different things. So I just had a feature that I produced and acted in called Never Going Back. It was released by A24. It's out on DVD and on Amazon Prime and other social platforms, and we're nominated for an Indie Spirit Award, the John Cassavetes Award, so that's really exciting. I'm producing 2 other features, and I've been doing a lot of writing, so I've got a feature script that I'm working on, and then this short film, I've written a TV pilot and production Bible based off this short, so I'm hoping to develop that.
Where do you have time to stop and sleep or eat?
I do a little sleeping and a little eating, but I'm basically just working. But you have to strike while the iron's hot. And I'm really passionate about all these stories, so I enjoy it. I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate to be able to work on things that I really enjoy. That I really enjoy filming in Texas, and I hope that I think that right now, some of the incentives for the state of Texas are up for the legislature, and I hope they bring more incentives to Texas. I'd like more films here. Great crews, great talented actors, lots of writers, directors, so.
And then let people know how they can follow and find out more information about yourself.
Okay, great, yes. On Twitter and Instagram and so forth, my handle's Lizzie in Films, Lizzy in Films. And like Liz Cardenas, you can just find me looking me up.
Susan Carol Davis.
Rania Malki. Thin Line Festival is a purely documentary festival featuring features and shorts from international and domestic filmmakers. It's our 12th year in 2019. Our best short award winner last year, Big Paradise, is a short that we have brought, and the feature is called Modern Jungle by a filmmaker who now lives in Mexico and has done a lot of his stories about the native Mexican culture and the legends of many people who've lived there all their lives. So those are the 2, Big Paradise and The Modern Jungle, both which screened last year to great response at Penline. And it's a free festival. It's been free for 3 years now. Yes, absolutely free. We're supported by grants and donations and sponsorships. So that brings in a lot of people who might not otherwise have an opportunity to be there.
And then what are y'all going to have in store for this year?
Well, I can give you a little bit of information. We have a film about female chefs called The Heat, A Kitchen Revolution. We have a film about Joseph Pulitzer, Voice of the People, that I'm particularly excited about because it addresses the subject of fake news. Where did that get started? And we also have shorts, an abundance of shorts that are going to make programs that are as enticing and beautiful as our feature blocks, including one called Ethan, which is by a first-time filmmaker about a young autistic gentleman who she began making the film when he was 3 years old, has taken it all the way up to the present. He's in Berkshire School of Music, so it's going to be tremendous.
That does sound very interesting. And then what about your involvement with the festival?
I've been a screener for the festival for the past 6 months, so I've watched a lot of the submissions, and I'm telling you, this is going to be an exciting chapter. I encourage everyone to go.
And she's assisting me this year in communicating with the filmmakers and making sure all of their visit with us is smooth and happy and wonderful.
My name's Alexa May, and I'm the director of Phonies, which is a documentary that is representing the Pegasus Film Festival here.
Okay. And where's the Pegasus Film Festival?
Oh, it's here in Dallas. It's like a representation of Booker T. Washington High School, but they accept films from all around Texas.
And is this your first film?
This is not my first film, but it's one of my first documentaries, so I'm enjoying getting into like different styles of film. I usually do narratives, but I really enjoyed this. So.
Did you say this was your first documentary?
It's my first documentary, yes.
And what made you decide to tell the story?
Tell the story. Well, the film is centered around like a grandmother's perspective on social media, and so I as a teenager noticed a lot of teenagers getting distracted with social media. So I wanted to explore the topic, but I also wanted to take a different perspective on it. So I decided to interview my grandmother, and it was a really awesome experience.
Focusing on a family member, how did your grandmother take it?
Well, she actually always complains about people like on Facebook and like wasting time on her phone. So it was definitely like interesting to get a more broader concept with her about it. But it was interesting directing her, definitely. But yeah, it was fun. It was good.
How did she feel, when you told her that you wanted to do a project involving her?
Oh, well, she's actually from Memphis, and so she knows that I'm like really into film and stuff. She's like, sure, I'll like drive down. And so she drove 8 hours to come like be in this film, which I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you, Graham. But it was awesome. So yeah.
Sure. And then what do you have coming up for yourself?
Well, right now I'm working on a documentary for the March of Dimes because I was born premature, so I'm making a documentary about that. And then I'm also working on a narrative film that deals with the person, like how a person's identity changes with divorce. So yeah, I'm really excited.
And you said you're a student, so what grade are you in?
I'm in 12th grade. I'm in high school right now, so.
And you go to Booker T?
I go to Hockaday. It's like an all-girls school. But, yeah.
Do you know where you want to go to?
Well, I'm really interested in cinematography and also screenwriting, which are kind of two different parts of film, but I would love to combine them however I can. And anywhere that will accept me, I'm really excited to like start the next chapter. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I'm Alex Topete. I'm the programming director of the Festival de Cine Latinoamericano, Latin American Film Festival of Dallas.
Very cool. And how long have y'all been a festival?
Since 2016. We've been bringing the best of Latin American cinema and Latino talent here to Dallas to showcase, not only to Dallas, but to North Texas, really, and making sure that people get to partake in the great things coming out of the Latino community and Latin America.
And then what film did you all have for the Best of Fest Festival?
We have 1950. It's a documentary about the nationalist uprising in Puerto Rico that happened during that year. And they talked to the people that lived it on both sides, the government and those that were the rebels. And they draw a parallel line between what happened then and what's going on today with Hurricane Maria and all the things that Puerto Rico has been going through. We have the next edition of our festival in February, the third weekend, and we are right now in the process of selecting all the great films that we'll be showing. So stay tuned.
Very cool. And then if people want to find out more information about your festival,
fdcla.org.
Rachelle Weiss with the Dallas Jewish Film Festival, and we're embarking on our 23rd season, September 2019. We're really thrilled to be part of Best of Fests. Our film, which will screen on Sunday afternoon at 2:30, is The Body Collector. It's a Dutch film about a journalist who gets a tip about a very prominent member of the community who's trying to sell his art collection, and the tip is this guy is a Nazi, he murdered a lot of people, and that art is actually not his. He stole it. And in fact, it was true. He went through quite a bit. He lost his job as a result of his work, but ultimately he spoke truth to power, and the man went to jail. So, prison, I should say.
Man, I don't know what I do. I work for volunteers. I do
the film festival has, yes.
I liaise with the other festivals, so I go to all the other film festivals to make sure it's that they need representation, need help. We're there to help them out.
Okay, give me your name.
So,
Tommy Schubert.
Over the past few years, we have tried, when we had a film that would appeal to another group beyond the Jewish audience, we would work to partner. So we partnered with the Dallas Goethe Society on a couple of German films, and we've partnered with DIF on a film. And even before my time, some of that was done. This is an opportunity to take that, 22 steps further. 22 festivals, sharing information. I got, in December, somebody I met through Best of Fests sent me a film possibility. It wasn't right for his festival, but it could be for ours. So I think it's an opportunity for people in the film committee to share information and expose all of our audiences to so many more opportunities. I'm thinking our festival is not curated by one person. We have a committee. So we're screening now, and there's a film from Mexico, and I see a potential partner here. There's a film about Ethiopian Jews, and I see a potential partnership here. So that's really exciting for us.
what about the importance of just the inclusion and getting those stories out?
So I think that that's important for all of us who have a niche festival. And our festival started because these stories weren't in the mainstream. Now sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't, but still to have a concentration of these films together is great for our audience, and I'm learning a lot about a lot of other festivals and a lot of other interesting films that I look forward to seeing.
Okay, and what film have you been else you want to let people know about?
We're showing.
This is really unique in Dallas, how much people are willing to share with each other and not view each other as competition, and I feel very proud to be part of it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my name is Jeffrey Brown. I am the organizer of Check That Film for Texas. And Check That Film, it's Dallas and Austin. And it's part of a larger 20-city tour. We do a traveling series of contemporary Czech films around the United States. The festival's been going for 7 years. We've been coming to Dallas for about 6. This will be our 6th year, and this is a special year because it's our first year to be a part of the Dallas International Film Festival. So we will be a sidebar, and it's our greatest opportunity to reach a larger audience, a non-Czech audience, which we usually reach, but this will be our best opportunity to expand, and we're very excited about it. What we generally have is we have a selection of contemporary Czech films, and that can be, and we're small. We do usually about 3 to 4 films, which will work nicely as a sidebar in the Dallas International Film Festival. We always have a Czech guest, so this year we'll be Radim Spacek, who's won several Czech Academy Awards in the past, and he will be our guest this year. And that should be on the Friday night, the 12th, and then we'll have 2 or 3 other films after that. So that'll be great, and then so it'll be something different. It's the international flavor for DIF this year. If you haven't checked out Czech film before, it's a very vibrant scene. It became probably the most famous thing is the Czech New Wave of the late 1960s, and there's some very well-known Czech directors. Probably the best known in the United States is Miloš Forman, but several others, and like I said, there's a vibrant scene. They put out about a good 30 films a year, and our guest is a very well-known Czech director, so it should be a good experience.
And then how can people find out more information about your festival?
They can go to checkthatfilm.org, and they can also visit the Dallas International Festival DIF, the website, as we get closer to the festival.
I'm Curtis Smith with Q Cinema, the LGBT film festival in Fort Worth. We've been around for 21 years. This will be our 21st year. They started as a student interest group on TCU campus, and have now gone into 21 years of festivals. So, yeah.
Very cool. And then we're here at the Vesta Fest Film Festival. What film are y'all showing?
We're showing Devil's Path. It's a thriller. 2 men meet randomly on a hiking trail, and then there's some mystery and some murder and quite a bit of things going on with that. So it's a great movie. Well, often in our film festival, we're showing films about people coming out, or their love found, or fighting for equality, or fighting against some sort of bigotry. But this is one of those films that isn't doing that. This is more about the thrill, and the fact that they're gay is all secondary. So, yeah.
How can people find out more information?
They can go to qcinema.org and find out. That's just Q with a Q and cinema and .org. And so, yeah, again, 21 years will be in October this year, the first weekend of October.
Is there anything else you want to let people know?
Just we're glad to be here, glad to be a part of everybody. So, yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So I'm Jitin Hingorani, Jitin. Last name is Hingorani, Hingorani, and I'm the festival director of the DFW South Asian Film Festival.
Now, for those that haven't heard of that festival, tell us a little bit about it and how people can find out more information.
Sure. So we're a festival that happens in March in DFW. This is going to be our 5th year. In 2019, and we actually are a conglomeration of films from South Asia, including India, Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, the Maldives, and Bhutan. And so if you are fascinated with South Asian culture and you want to see some real independent, phenomenal filmmaking that may never see the light of day until they come to our festival, please join us in March. You can get more information about us at dfwsaf.com. That's dfwsaff.com. We have a film on Sunday at 1 p.m. called The Journey Within, and The Journey Within is a documentary film about Coke Studio, like Coca-Cola, going into the country of Pakistan post 9/11 and creating a platform for their musicians to have a voice and shed a positive light on the Pakistani culture and the community. So if you like music, if you like documentary-style filmmaking, and again, you're fascinated with South Asia, this is a great film to come watch. It really represents what Coke Studio has done in Pakistan and the way it has spotlighted this beautiful country. So we hope you're able to come share that with us.
Anything else you want to tell?
Yeah, I just want to say that this is phenomenal. I'm so excited to be a part of this, and I really think that what we're doing in DFW is going to set the bar for film festivals across the world. This has never been done, and it's historic to just be a small part of it. So we're very, very humbled.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Samuel Thomas. This is my wife Shannon. I'm one of the co-festival directors of the Deep in the Heart Film Festival in Waco, Texas. And so we're honored to be a part of Vesta Fest. We are a little bit neighbors to the south, but by the same token, we're all a part of a great film community here, and it's an honor that they have us be a part of it. Our film is called Blur Circle. It's an amazing tale of a woman who's a few years back, her son was kidnapped and never has returned. And so she's been dealing with that over her for all this time, and everything involved with that any parent would go through, all the doubt, all the grief, all the hope that's there. And it's just an amazing story. And it's actually it was actually made by a professor at Baylor. And so in our first year, we had partnered with them for a variety of different reasons, and then one of their associates snuck us this film. They didn't even show it to us, and they're like, "Hey, I want you to check this out." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll watch a film, from these guys," and it was amazing. And so I watch it, and I had her watch it. I'm like, make sure I'm not just like hoping it's as good as it is. And so she loved it, and then we showed it to to the programming team, to Lewis and the programming team, and yeah, everybody was just like, this is amazing. And so we were so honored to have it in our first year, and it's just had such an impact on us, but it's also made a great impact on the film festival circuit as well. It was pretty much released at the same time as Bomb Factory, or Bomb City. Sorry, Bomb Factory. It's a club. Same time as Bomb City. And they've been basically going around the circuit together, and they've been competing, they've been nominated at the same time, and they've been going back and forth on awards. And so it's one of those quality films that comes from this area. And we're just so excited that, we can show, hey, this is what we've got in Waco for you guys. So, yeah.
And how long have y'all been a festival?
Okay, so we're going into our third year, so it's pretty awesome, man. And we've had the vision for about 5 years before we even started it, but we started back in 2016, and 2017 was when we actually had the premiere, but we were working on it all the way through 2016. And then 2017 to 2018, now we're coming into 2019 for our third year.
And then what do you have coming up for your festival this year?
Awesome, yeah, no, it's same. For us, story is king, and so that's been our foundation. And what we're doing is we create that core, and then we build on it every year that we can. And that comes with panels, and that comes with great local community events happening. Waco is a film-friendly city. We got awarded that, in fact, back in 2017, actually at our festival. It's kind of cool. The ceremony was there. And we have partnered with the Waco Convention and Visitors Bureau, and they have this amazing locations tour to let people know what's happening in Waco for any kind of filming event. And all of our filmmakers who have accepted it and come to the festival, that's a free tour for them. It ends with a barbecue dinner. We have that. We also have this great tour with a whiskey company called Phonies. Anyone who knows whiskey has heard of this Phonies. It's an amazing thing. And luckily it's in walking distance, because at the end of that whiskey tour, you're going to want to walk back, because you should not be driving, because they give you a whole sample, flights of all their whiskey. It's amazing.
And then how can people find out more information about your festival?
Awesome, yeah. Well, just look for us online. If you put in Deep in the Heart Film Festival in Google, it'll pop up, no problem. You can look at it for us on Film Freeway as well. We're in Film Freeway's top 100 best reviewed festivals. We're happy to be that. We've been that for, over a year now, maybe 2 years, I think. But it's been good. So, it should be easy to find. Facebook, Instagram, all those good things. They can find us. Follow us there. They get to know about us. If they go to our website, they can get our newsletter, and they can just get updates from us throughout the mail as well.
That's the podcast. Thank you again to everybody that came and spoke with me on the red carpet of Best of Fest. I'll have more information on episode 41 of the Avert Your Eyes podcast at www.avertyoureyespod.com, and just check out episode 41. Keep up with the Avert Your Eyes podcast, or check out past episodes by visiting our website, avertyoureyespod.com. There you will find everything you need to subscribe to the podcast, with links to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Twitter, Facebook, and so much more. Just go to www.avertyoureyespod.com. And don't forget to leave a comment or review. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Michael Gibson Jr., and until next time on the Avert Your Eyes podcast, consider yourself warned.